Yes. I'll call a meeting to order. Would you please stand and salute the flag? And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Hi, you. The next thing is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Jessica does super job.
I mentioned that you guys were appreciative last time. She was very tickled.
Really, of course, she said that mistake with the 5-0.
Yeah, she was embarrassed, but she.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from August 7th.
Second.
So a motion by Chris, second by Kent to approve the minutes that Jessica did so well on for August 7th. Oh, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is department.
Just in time, Pete.
My tardiness. Pledge of allegiance to the flag. Well, good evening. Small crowd tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Unusual. So I just wanted to update you guys on our golf tournament last Friday. You probably saw my weekly memo. Went very well. Had 26 teams, over 105 hole sponsors. Just amazing turnout, beautiful weather. We're still tallying things, but we think we're gonna probably raise close to $14,000-15,000, which is our goal was 10, so we exceeded that. Most of that's just whole sponsors. So it's a good fundraiser, you know, but it's a lot of work, several months in the making. Hats off to everybody that helped pull up that fundraiser. But as quick as that money came in, it went right back up. It's amazing. Fundraising for the project downtown and how quick the money just comes and goes. Today we did some more filming downtown with Maine Cab Masters. If any of you drove through town, you probably saw how busy it was. Started with a high-speed chase. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
Yeah, what was that?
I saw 3 cruisers and go by my office building, turn on the scanner, and according to the cabin masters, Kennebec Cabin Company employees that were there, excess of 100 miles an hour, cleared the tracks, airborne out of the vehicle, and luckily there was nobody parked on the right side of the road because it would major collision. And they went down one road. I think police kind of backed off because it was just excess speeds, and they went straight in this Wales Sabatis, thinking Sabatis would intercept, but didn't know he had gone down Warren Road. So I don't know if they ever got the guy, but it was just crazy how fast he was. He went by my office doing at least 80 miles an hour just coming from 202. That just tells you how fast.
Blink of an eye, I was outside. Maureen and I happened to be outside the office.
Oh,
yeah.
And it was good it wasn't this afternoon because the railroad company was down there, DOT was down there.
Tell you how
the cabin masters people were down there. I mean, it was crazy down there.
Yeah.
Both sides of the road, there were cars all over the place.
Dave Loon was down there mowing, and I apologized 3 times to all the film crews because it was the loudest and busiest I've ever seen downtown. The worst day for filming. Because you gotta, don't want so much background. Right. And I just never seen downtown like and there were neighbors that were trimming lawns this tall that hadn't trimmed all summer, and they chose today. It's like, yeah. But it was kind of exciting too, just to see the busyness of it. But yeah, we're 8 days out from our final review. Just amazing watching this transition, just what has happened in 1 year. Pretty proud of that, excited. Pavers went in partial today, and gonna do the walkway tomorrow. We had a 100% donation of sod grass, 2,000 square feet coming on 4 pallets. So by early next week, the park should be like 99% done. Saw some pictures from Colette Monument today. monument looks awesome. Can't wait to see that all assembled. Flagpole's been delivered. We're just gonna put it up. So Dave's World today. Dave's World. I had to
Awesome.
awesome. I had to do a commercial, and that was the final thing I said.
Oh,
I
is
said,
it?
Dave's
Yeah.
World, awesome. So that's their tagline. Yeah, but they were gracious, donated 100%. You know, two heat pumps. And they got those installed today. So yeah, things are just happening. They're very excited. So 2 weeks from now, I mentioned this a while back, but on schedule. It's gonna be Saturday, September 7th at 9 a.m. It's gonna be our annual 9/11 remembrance ceremony that we've done in front of the fire station, but now it's gonna be done at the 9/11 Memorial Park. Welcome all of you guys and spread the word. Love to have a nice big crowd this year. In addition to that, we're gonna have Grandma Jermaine's gonna come down and do what they call a cornerstone dedication of the park, or the property, I should say. So we're gonna have several masons. We've got the pipes and drum band called the Highlanders for a temple coming down. They've been the past remembrance ceremonies for us. So they'll have a contingency of instruments and masons, and the Legion of Honors is going to be doing the honor guard for us from the flag detail. So there'll be a little ceremony there with that coming down from our we call it our Blue Lodge town, Lodge 110. So Main Street's going to be shut down for about an hour. I already explained that to the chief, but I'll get a formal plan to him so he'll know. But we're going to shut it down from Welch all the way to Blue Road, and even Maple and Pleasant Street for that hour. Hopefully the general store is okay, but let's see. It's just for safety reasons and the size of the crowd we're expecting. So, you know, there'll be a detour down Berry Road and to Gray Mill Road and back to Welch. So, you know, traffic can still flow. They're just gonna be a little inconvenience to go around the block to make things safe. You know, local traffic, of course, can still come through. In addition to our 9/11 remembrance ceremony and cornerstone dedication to reveal the park, we're also going to have a push-in ceremony for our antique engine to go back into the original firehouse. So that's pretty important thing for us to do, and then of course an open house. So we'll have refreshments. The auxiliaries can help us with serving refreshments and just have people tour the building. So a lot going on that day. Mark your calendars.
And did you get the hand cart and other stuff?
It's coming.
Is it gonna be there?
It will be there for the September 7th. I don't know if we'll have it for the final reveal for filming next Thursday.
Okay.
That's our goal. Minimal we'll have engine 2 there, but Stan's working on it. Those are the 2 things.
Gardner won't give it up.
They're not going to give it up entirely, but they're letting us have it on loan indefinitely until they build a new fire station or a museum themselves. So we're kind of hoping once we get possession of it, possession of 9/10 of the law, we get to keep it for good, or, you know, we still got some things in the works where we'd like to buy it back, and maybe the price is right, maybe they'll sell it, but the old timers, they really want to hang on to it because it's special to them. But man, is it special to us. I mean, that was our first piece that came to Monmouth back in 1903. Yes. So, well, we were incorporated in 03. You're correct. So the piece came in 04, and it was housed.
Watertown Arsenal, the building was built. And a hose ramp, yeah.
And didn't it come over on a train? Or
It was likely delivered from the Watertown Arsenal on the flatbed train, yeah, I'm sure of it.
So we got a lot of work to do to, like, you know, history and write-ups and all that stuff. We'll all be more to come. Speaking of the firehouse, I'll leave on this note. That topic is September 28th is the Apple Fest, and we're actually gonna man the Firehouse Museum and open our doors and allow the public to come view it during that ceremony or that event. And then we're gonna do a fundraiser. We're gonna sell bowls of chili and pulled pork sandwiches and Monmouth Firehouse Museum hats and t-shirts as a fundraiser. I've already checked with the museum staff and there's no conflicts with their food. Boy Scouts do burgers, hot dogs. Audrey and that gang does soups, pies, and chowders. So they're excited to have us as an addition to hopefully attract more people to that event. This Saturday, the fire department's gonna be sending a truck to Jellystone Campground, once we get across the road. From 10 to 12. That's for a touch a truck event. They do that once a year in the best town. Lastly, I just wanted to thank Public Works today. They pulled the docks for the beach party from the water truck along and brought it back to Public Works for storage for the event. Thanks to their crew for doing that. All I got. Do you guys have any questions? Good. Thank you.
Madam Beach Director, would you like to?
Sure thing. We had the docks out first thing bright and early this morning. Public Works helped do that with us. We had a couple of locks we ended up having the bolt cut off because they were rusted that I couldn't get the key in them. So we'll have to just get new ones next year. When we took the docks out, there's a hole on one decking piece of one of the docks that has to be replaced that has sharp edges around it. And then on another one of the floating docks, the edging on the outside that holds the decking pieces down has come off, so that needs to be replaced. So I had talked with Public Works about what we need to do to fix those before next year. We'd like to do it now so that they're fixed before next summer, so we don't have to scramble to fix them. Right now they're laying out flat so that we can finish brushing them off and painting them tomorrow. We couldn't do that today, obviously, because they were still wet from coming out of the water. So Ian and I are gonna finish working on that tomorrow. Swim lessons was great. We had our last water carnival 2 weeks ago and swim across the lake, and the kids had a blast. We had quite a few kids swim across the lake this time. We are, let's see, we bleached all the bathrooms and the changing rooms before we closed up today. So hopefully they smell a whole lot better now. They smell like bleach. I did lock the changing room door, but we left the bathrooms open because the handle on the changing room door is still broken. So if someone accidentally shuts that, you end up locked inside. So I didn't want that to happen while there was no one down there. So we just locked that door. So I figured people could just change in the bathrooms for now. And then I just have inventory and paperwork to finish up because we went through all of our equipment and got rid of all the stuff that was broken or that we've been holding on to for 30+ years that is no longer safe or meets the requirements. So Public Works took care of disposing of that for us today, and I'll finish typing up that report tomorrow on Friday.
Who's responsible for fixing the handle that's not working properly?
I think we have to get a new handle is what it was coming down to, and I think we were waiting for the budget vote on the 29th to do that. We tried fixing it with like turning it around and stuff, but it doesn't open all the way now. So like one side opens, but the inside doesn't. So if you're outside, it's fine, but if you're inside, it's not. So I think it just has to be replaced completely. And Public Works was going to do it, but we're told to wait until the budget vote to go and do that.
Ian doesn't do carpentry.
We tried. We worked on it together. We tried, but we could not get it to work. We even tried turning the handle like upside down, and it still didn't work. We tried flipping it. We couldn't get it to work. I think there's like a mechanism that's broken on it. So like even when you like loosen the screws, like the inside gets stuck. Like one handle will move and the other handle doesn't. Like they don't move together like they're supposed to. So we don't want anyone to get locked in there.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, one thing I forgot to mention, Dan, There was something quite a long time ago about you finding gold somewhere. Was that ever,
Said he couldn't talk about
Yeah,
and you still can't?
it.
that was a fire in an adjacent town that we responded mutually to, where the property owner had some gold stored in his house, and he was able to salvage it, or firefighters helped him recover it. It survived the fire, is what it is.
Of course.
I just didn't want to get into, there's a lot of rumors about the amount that was recovered, whether it was factual. I don't get into details, it's not my business.
It was substantial.
It was.
It's always been on my mind.
Just two things I want to bring. I met with the Cobussy watershed people, not the Friends of the Cobussy watershed, but the Cobussy Watershed Association, which is different.
District.
No, not the district. The Cobussy Watershed Association, which only
Cobussy Watershed District.
no, the district is the one that that we're formally required to pay every year. They're like a quasi-governmental entity.
Yes.
This is the Cobussy Lake Association. I'm sorry, not Watershed Association, sorry. Lake Association. I had a meeting with them just about what they're doing over there on the lake, trying to keep up with the milfoil and all the other things that are going on over there. One of the things that they asked about, and I wanted to double check with you folks, you wouldn't have, so the new sort of guidelines that are out there is that, you know how a lot of people, they pull their boat out and they let all the water drain out, or they pull their plugs while it's still sitting on the ramp and the water goes back into the lake. The new best practice is there's supposed to be an area that you pull away from the lake by 100 yards or so, and then you're supposed to do that there. The idea would be to reline or to either mark the pavement up. We have the perfect setup over there to actually do this because there's that upper parking lot that's past the lower one, if you know what I'm talking about. So we could make an area up there and mark it and sign it and say, this is the area to drain your boats. The idea is that it would be far enough away that it would dissipate through the ground before it would end up back in the lake for whatever somebody might have either spilt on the deck of their boat or what might be in the bottom. I told them that if it was acceptable to you folks, that we wouldn't have any problem. If they gave me the language, we would pay for the signs, Public Works would install them. This isn't a big expense, and that we could stripe it for that purpose, as long as there's no, I told them to give me how they would like it to work, because we don't know how this is supposed to work. So if there's not any objection, we will kind of just move forward with that. I just want to make sure that was okay. I want to make sure there's no objection here by anybody.
And this is regarding the Cobussy boat launch.
Correct. And we did talk about the ramp. I told them, that we're looking into the ramp situation, how there's a hole at the bottom. And he was appreciative of that. They were looking for ways to figure out how to better do their assessments on the communities that are around the lake. And they talked about, front foot and all that. And I also pointed them, I said a lot of funding formulas around the state also are based on state valuation. He didn't know what that was. So I shared that with him and he was appreciative. I said, I don't know if that's it could be just one portion of their formula about how they want to allocate the funds that they request from their communities that come around. The second issue is, which I've heard from residents and you folks alike about the Tucknawagan boat launch, that it's sort of backwards. It was sort of built backwards as far as I can tell. They have you enter on the parking lot side, so the cars queue up and block all the people that are either trying to go in or out because you can't. It's opposite of every boat launch I've ever seen anywhere. But the issue is it's paved that way. So Tony and I went down there today. So if we were to reverse the flow, so if you were to enter on what most people would consider to be the entrance, which is the road part that doesn't have the parking spaces on it, and then you were to come around, the paving is skewed towards the way the parking spaces are painted today. So if we were to reverse the flow and have it go the way that I think most other boat launches are, we would spin it the other way. We would probably lose 2 parking spaces down there. We definitely, and maybe 3 if you wanted to, if we kept the handicap spot, or now they call it disabled spaces, I think is the term. But so it's either that or we just put signage up, because I've seen many times that people enter it the way that most people think you're supposed to, which is actually the exit. And then they try to finagle their way into those spots by, doing 6-point turns with their trailers to get into the stalls so I don't know what your preference is. We can do either one. Tony's gonna go down and he's gonna measure and mark out the spaces if they were turned the other way and see how many we'd lose. He's gonna go down and do that. But I just kind of wanted to feel out what your preferences are. We'll do whatever you would like, but I'm pretty sure we will lose a couple spots if we turn it around. Or we will just put better signage that make sure, because right now, there's the typical boat launch sign with an arrow. But we would probably put up signage that says enter here, exit only on the side that most people think you should enter on. And just try to see if we can get people and remark the lane so that people know which direction they're supposed to go in. That might help. But if you want it turned around, we'll lose a couple spots. So I don't know what you folks' preference is.
When they redid that, they did it backwards.
It's
I mean, it was never that way before until
Yeah.
they went in there and redid.
They fought, somebody told them
Before,
they fought to get it to the right, and they.
you want the money, then it's gonna be this way,
Exactly,
Yeah.
what
yeah.
they said.
because that's
How
an
often-
inland fisheries one, not a conservation.
It's
one,
never
right?
full.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
Never
You
full.
can afford to lose 3 spots.
I was
It's,
gonna say, the one time it's full is really.
the beach party is the only time that I've ever seen, or an affair going on down there that. it's
Affairs?
full.
Wait a minute, we've got affairs going on?
Well, when they rent the gazebos. Like, we can afford to lose it, and the lake can afford to have 3 people less on it. Anyway.
That's what I was wondering. I didn't know how often it filled up. I didn't want to,
It's not.
I didn't want to take away spaces if we're gonna be,
Everybody here or everybody that I know goes in the wrong way. 'Cause
Exactly.
you
because that's the way you do it every other boat
You
launch.
can't do
Yeah.
it the other way.
It was foolish.
It's just.
Well, you gotta do a 50, you gotta do a,
Yeah.
right turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's, and you're backing in on the blind side.
Yeah,
Wants to back in on the blind side if you
Yeah.
can help it.
Do you need a motion
I
on
think
that, or you
we
just
should-
want?
No, I just want to have, if we're gonna go down there and stripe it, I just don't want to do it and then have it become, oh, you took away 2 spots and you're crazy and all that stuff. But we will,
no, I think we should.
so we'll flip it around if that's what you want,
correct
Tony.
way and
Okay,
back
so
to
we'll
the way it
enter on
should have
the road and then exit on the parking spots.
It's been a lingering problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody,
That'll be a sign of progress, not
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Have we had an update from the Eagle Scout that was doing the kayak?
Yeah, so they had some delays getting it done, but I can't remember the timeline or when he had it, but they are working on
Oh.
it. So we're hoping to get
I
something.
just hadn't heard anything and.
They were gonna give us the final design when they had it to make sure that we were okay with it. But no, I haven't seen anything since. I think summer just kind of gets away from everybody, doesn't it?
That's for sure.
You said that Tony can strike the roads.
Yes, so
Folks.
that's correct. So Tony feels that that our crew should be doing our sidewalks, our parking lots and all that himself. So he went out, he asked me and he went out and he bought a striper. So he went and bought one. So the crew's their plan is to have all these crosswalks that the kids need to be done before school starts. They're gonna be doing them soon. He's gonna stripe all the boat launches, the municipal parking lots, all that stuff. So we'll be able to keep on top of that stuff more than we have in the past when we've been relying on vendors to do it. So hopefully all this stuff, if the weather permits and all those types of things, hopefully this stuff will all get done before the kiddos have to start crossing the street. It's nice to have the crosswalks nicely lined at the start of
That
school.
includes roads, like.
They will not be doing a center line striping. That's a little different process. You need a truck to kind of drive down the road for that, but anything they can do, it's like a machine that you kind of push, they put the stamps down and they, yeah.
It's like
Stencils
stenciling.
on.
It's like stenciling, yes.
Yeah, it is.
And they do the school crossing,
Yep,
paint the road.
yeah, they'll do all the crosswalks.
But so then, like, we'd like to do, there's some roads around like Norris Hill where, I guess it's not in the foggy times or snowy times, you could get lost kind of. And, so we like to have certain roads, like center stripe and fog lines, I
The
guess.
mayonnaise and the mustard is
Yeah.
what they call it, yeah. Yep, Tony is much more, he's much more, he's very pro striping the roads, replacing outdated stop signs. He has a big list of things that he wants to do. It's just a matter of having the time to do it, but, he is, if there are any in particular that you think are important, please let me know and I will make sure that it's added to his list, but he does feel that, he's going to, so for example, he's going to stripe, the newly paved Town Farm Road on all of them. And in his, to say, because he likes to, be proud of what he does. He likes that their road was much better than ours and now ours is new and he wants to have our lines run right to the town line so that the people in Litchfield know that we have our road be better than his. So he's just proud of things like that. So everything you see, like he wants the stop signs to be standard, not the non-reflective ones that we have around. So he wants it all done right. So he has a big list and he's gonna manage it with whatever money you give him. So.
Well, I don't know who would know what roads would be needed. Cause I know probably what Academy Road should be done and, I don't know.
I'm sure he's got.
Yeah, all the ones that are currently painted will be repainted when they come up, when you get the vendor here. They're hard to get because they do the large municipalities first, right? Like Augusta always gets circles and all that stuff because they have so much paint, So we kind of come sort of towards the end of the season, but, all I was referring to is if there are any roads that are not painted that you think should be, pass those along to me and we can consider whether it's appropriate or not. There's certain roads that you just don't paint, the smaller ones, but if you think there's any spots in particular that are in really bad shape, just let me know and I'll see if it's on Tony's list.
Do you know anything about the place in the town signs, the entrance signs?
Yes, so I have a quote to do both of those. If you want to see them before I approve it, I can bring it to your next meeting. I have quotes for both of the gateway entrance signs and the one at the end of Blue Road because we were hoping that they would all match. I had Dennis kind of look at them kind of in a way to incorporate, when they do Main Street, he's envisioning replacing the Cumpston Hall sign. So I wanted him to have input in so that everything kind of is the same. It has to do with kind of our new logo and color scheme and all that. We're trying to tie everything together so that when you're in town, you'll know it based on any town sign that's put up. I had a part of that was to have a quote for the new town hall to put the same style sign on the town hall. And in my opinion, it was way too expensive. So I told them to take that off. So right now it's just the two gateway signs and the one in front. And I'm happy to share that with anybody that is interested to see them. If you want to approve them first, I'm happy to do that.
I'd love to see it. I don't think I need to.
Okay.
But I'd
Yeah.
love to see it,
Yeah.
just because I'm
Yep.
nosy.
So you'll see them, they're in the works and they should be up probably before winter, I would hope. Public Works is gonna install them. Tony said we can do that. You don't need to pay somebody to do it. So he's all set to put them in for us. I'll forward around the sketches to all of you so that you can see it.
The Wilson Pond boat launch, I talked about it, needs some more the concrete things when you enter because people when they go in, they go over the edge.
I thought that was the Cobussy boat launch we were talking about. Is it not? Is it the Wilson Pond?
Wilson Pond.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got him confused. All right, sorry. Nope.
They that's the one they were complaining about.
Okay, I'm sorry. I in my head, I heard Cobussy when you said that. I don't know why.
The concrete pads, or you saying the
Yeah.
raft that goes on each end, like
Those big, huge things that.
Concrete.
The slabs that drive.
Back onto, yes.
it is narrow.
There's a drop off there.
Yeah.
At the end, it needs 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
Cross ribs
Yeah,
So the trailers can stay on it.
and then once they do get their tires down there, they gun it and shoot more dirt away, yes.
Exactly. It's the wash from the props
Yeah.
trying to load them
And
on.
that too, and load
Because they
them
don't
by
back the
that,
trailers all the way in, so
Yeah.
they have to power off.
yeah.
Right.
And you said that, the, Odyssey, Lake
Association.
Association, they're wondering how they can assess the number of people who would be members.
No, they were trying to assess how to assess the communities. So right now we give them, I think it's like 4,000, so it's like $4,000 a year, or I can't remember exact number, but there's a number. And they were trying to work through sort of they were trying to figure out the fairest way to sort of assess the community, not assess, but ask the communities for the money that they do every year. And he said they were using all kinds of different, shorefront. He was basically asking if we could, which we can, I'm sure Donna can extract this somehow out of the assessment records, because she knows how many feet everybody has on the lake. So he was wondering if there was a way that they could get that data out of our assessment database. And he didn't ask the assessment database, but I said, we can probably get it out of there. So their association is just trying to figure out a way that they can assess things, because they're considering hiring what they call a lake manager. It's not going to be, they're not going to be asking the communities to pay for it at this point. They have several individuals that live on that lake that contribute significant amounts of money. They think they have enough money right now to hire somebody for 3 years, which would basically go around on the lake to just try to, when they see people, because they've had people that pick up those red flags when they find the milfoil, and people want to swim there, and they think that it's like, so they pick it up and they move it over like 35 feet. So they go back, and now it's not marking where you're not supposed to be messing around. So they want to have somebody out there that kind of says, these flags are here for this purpose, don't touch them. And, your boat going over here is not good, basically just someone to kind of educate people on what's going on, with the milfoil, and just try to keep people up. But they think they can hire somebody basically full-time in the summer to go around and provide that function, be like an educator.
Aren't those things marked like restricted or something?
So it's funny, I was down to Maple Ridge Island
Oh, wait.
and talking to somebody, one of the Minkowskis, down there today. In fact, and it was her big thing. It's like, boaters are coming in to this shallow area. They're, plowing through plants. And then what if, she's a concerned property owner, and concerned because, number one, they're down there surveying, putting in buoys, right? She wants to make sure her property values are okay. So she's concerned about milfoil, but then she's also concerned, like, well, what if they put a surface use restriction that prevents me from getting in my property? If there's a lot of milfoil, is another one. And yes, people are messing with buoys, like moving milfoil buoys around because they don't, they're afraid or something. I don't know. And then, and then it's, the whole bass fisherman thing, which I didn't want to go into. So, what's that?
We always get a bad rep.
I know. So the bottom line is it's a big concern, and there's a lot of adjustment going on because this is a different strain of milfoil than the one that Aunt Beth's Cook has.
Right.
In the Wagon area, we've had 3 weeks of milfoil removal. That's the variable leaf milfoil, which is fairly slow growing. And as long as you stay on top of it with scuba divers, it generally will stay in the cove if you don't stir it up, right? If you don't have boats plowing through it and turning it into tiny little bits. The kind they have in Cobbossee is Eurasian water milfoil, very rapid growing. You can harvest it, till the cows come home, and this stuff bounces back. It grows inches a day. And is easily spread. They have no surface use restrictions in Cobbossee right now. So boaters are not legally required to stay away from stuff. There are suggestions, there are milfoil buoys. There are these tiny little marker buoys that they're using for surveying, but these are just suggestions. They're not, IF&W enforceable. So it's a little bit of a Wild West in Cobbossee right now. And this is why they're talking about having a manager too.
Basically an educator. I mean, they're
Yep.
calling it like a Cobbossee,
Yeah.
lake manager or whatever, but it's really just someone to go around and explain to people like, this is what's going on and please
Right.
don't continue this behavior. So it's gonna be the right person or they might, get themselves
Gonna
in
have
trouble.
some
Not
thick
everybody,
skin.
not everybody is always on their best behavior, right?
Let me share with you, right, they just had a fishing tournament, bass tournament.
Yeah.
Keezer Lake, and they had a lake patrol guy out there patrolling the waterways, and he has enforcement power to, issue summonses if you're creating a wake
Yeah.
and a wake zone, et cetera.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the Lake Association hired 2 game wardens for the day, paid them overtime to come out on a weekend just because of our bass tournament. And they had to make sure we had our proper permit, made sure we were
Oh,
doing our
wow.
proper weed inspections both before and after,
Yeah.
and checking our boats during the tournament.
Yeah, so just so you know, I learned this, that the Cobbossee Lake Association is already paying IF&W to have somebody out there almost 40 hours a week to sit on that lake. They generally have like they have a region and they bounce from lake to lake to lake, but they're actually paying IF&W extra money so that one of them is out there close to 40 hours a week, I think is what he said in the summertime. So it might not be every day, but it's so many hours that they have to work out there a week just because of the milfoil issue. The landowners are concerned that it's going to ruin their lake. So they're doing everything that they
That's a
can.
big challenge. I mean, they've
Yeah,
already
yeah.
done an herbicide. I think they did an herbicide treatment.
They have been doing it.
Limited herbicide
Yep.
treatments. I think you're gonna do it again.
Yes,
And,
it's like a spot treatment. It's not something that
Yeah.
they drop over the whole waterway. It's like they go into an area and.
cove by cove.
Yeah, exactly.
But they still don't have it under control.
No,
And even if you don't live on Cobbossee, if you're in the town of Monmouth, you should be very concerned about the property values on Cobbossee because those assessments generate quite a lot of revenue for the town. And there's a substantial penalty for property values on milfoil infested lakes. And, God forbid people come in and start asking for adjustments to their assessment. Or if we go through this revaluation next year, the assessor is going to be required to take, those sorts of factors into account when establishing a value for the property. So it's serious business and it's our business.
that's all. Sorry for that rabbit hole.
I got a couple of things for the town manager. Could you ask the Public Works Director, Tony, to take a look at some tree branches on the Carver Road? That was a request. The stuff needs to be trimmed back.
Okay.
Apparently, over and over again, the residents down this is on the South Monmouth. It's a very short stretch.
Yeah.
Before the bridge, between South Monmouth Road and the bridge. Apparently people have been, they're growing tired of having to do it themselves.
It's a town road.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not private, right?
No.
No, that's a town road, up to the bridge.
I'm happy to have him look, but the entire town
Needs
for
to be
branch
trimmed back.
trimming has been neglected for a long time.
My
So-
public service is done.
No, absolutely, but it's here and I will tell him and.
There you go.
Yep.
And could you also ask Reagan to convene a meeting of the Economic Development Committee? I understand there are a couple of pending applications.
Okay.
And Mark, I've reached out to her, but I didn't get anything either, so.
I feel better.
She's busy.
Running for office.
And then the last thing is, I don't know if this is maybe a Tony thing, but could someone please call DOT about the sawhorses that are still on the Route 135 bridge? I'm sure the concrete is cured by now.
There's still 2 cones there.
Yeah.
I think those are ours.
Been there a while.
Since
Yeah,
it got
about
smashed
3 weeks,
into.
4 weeks.
All of that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I drive
Yeah, they had an
by.
accident there.
Right, because they,
Yeah,
More than 100.
yeah, it's been a while.
I think the framing is still on it too, right?
Yeah.
Like the wood is still on.
Yeah, the concrete is clear, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, sorry, did you have a question for me too? Just before you move on, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just gonna say that, it seems like we've started select board reports, which is the next thing.
Yes.
But do we need to backtrack?
No. All I was gonna say was I met with the engineer and Wendy from the Cobussy Water District today to do our kickoff meeting for the Annabescook Lake Dam study. So I just wanted to let you know that that's underway and everybody's got their marching orders. So I just wanted you to know that. That's all. I forgot to mention it. Sorry.
I have no idea. You don't?
No.
Any reports?
I've got one, because we did have a meeting.
You had your chance.
Yeah. You shut- Wait a minute,
Time's up.
how can it be that
Time's
you are suddenly shutting somebody down? I feel like very privileged, because, you know,
Doesn't happen.
next year, you're gonna use the gavel?
I was thinking.
I have that big one in my office.
We had a meeting of the Trails Committee, and they're talking to a consultant to put together a proposal to help do the basic plan. What would you call it? Basic plan of the trail behind RSU, yeah, behind the school. Anyway, he's kind of exploring with us how it can be helpful and what that might cost. And I think we'll probably be coming back in the next couple weeks with some financial request, small financial request. In the Trails Committee, there was also a referral to the Snowmobile ATV Club for the beginning of a recommendation for if the select board were to approve the use of ATVs, golf carts, and snowmobiles on public ways, what would those streets be? So that has been referred over through Chad Wright to the Snowmobile and ATV Club for, give us a plan kind of stuff.
I think if I could add to that, there was a discussion, Chad brought that back. So he's our regular liaison on that committee. And there was some talk that other places, I believe in the state of Maine, have assigned local snowmobile ATV clubs or ATV clubs, for example, and said you can decide what roads that you think really ought to be done. They maybe before they actually execute signs and things, they would talk to the Tony LaPlante and the Destins of the world and make sure there's no immediate obvious problem. But I think that instead of going back over and over and over again to say, let them make a plan and say this is where this stuff all ought to go. And so they're coming back over and over, and there's something new, and they would come forward with it. There's a system in place. I don't know all the details that it doesn't require a lot of repetition coming back for permission. Something already in place. So it'll be like not reinventing the wheel. Chad he's going to be looking into that.
Yeah. We had a nice presentation actually from Superintendent Amaro, who came to reinforce that he was encouraging us to come up with a proposal and that the RSU2 property could be used. And then also the police chief came and emphasized that a reasonable amount of public way could be used for the purpose of golf carts and ATVs. And that might actually be helpful to allow some use, not only for, primarily for the benefit of small businesses in town, that you'd find ways to connect people to be able to get to the post office or to the general store, or to a boat launch, for example, with their ATV or golf cart. Especially for people who are mobility impaired.
I'm gonna lose, at my age, I'm gonna lose my driver's license, because. And so I'd like to use my golf cart.
To go to the post office each day.
Come visit me, you just come down and cut through the lawn on the town property with your golf cart. It'd save you a few minutes.
Working on the trail to the town office.
Right. Yeah.
There is one potential extension of the trail that would connect to the town office.
Yeah, it actually comes right out across the street. from-
Yeah.
from
It's
Doug's
out.
house.
Right.
The proposed.
Yeah, that's what I thought, it's right across the street.
Doug, you'll probably have to negotiate with your daughter about whether she's willing to allow ATVs on that portion of the trail.
Now you can't, because I think she's on the agenda.
So then, the public comment. Then, you're appointing Sean Schultz to the Trails Committee. I so move.
I second.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. You made a motion, no, Joe.
Yes, I made the second.
Okay, Joe made a motion to appoint Sean, and Ken seconded it. All those in favor?
His name is Mr.
Yes, there's I believe there's a C in it, but
Is it, I couldn't read his handwriting. I did my,
he's my neighbor, so I do believe there's a C in it.
it's
but
SCH, is it A or U?
It's you.
Okay, I couldn't understand. I
But he's
apologize.
a teacher,
Okay, I apologize.
but he's not an English teacher.
Oh.
It's a science teacher.
Okay, good, so he'll understand.
Yeah.
And then to consider appointing Kat Ludwig to the Trails Committee,
I so
and
move.
I'll abstain.
I so move.
I'll second.
So Joe's made a motion, Ken has seconded it to appoint Kat to the Trails Committee. All those in favor?
It's 4-0.
Yeah,
For the record.
for the record.
401.
Next is consider a facade grant application from the former Monmouth Academy Building Committee.
So I had asked Reagan, because being on the building committee, I took back the information and Reagan typed me a nice little thing to explain it. So because essentially the TIF doesn't allow municipalities to give funds to themselves, that's why it wasn't approved. But as we always say, you don't ask, you don't know. And if you ask, all they can say is no. So,
Yeah.
so that's why that facade grant wasn't through the Economic Development Committee. So
we can't approve it.
Basically, yes.
I guess we could, but it would be against fall.
Right.
transparency and look and all of that.
You can do what you want, but it might be unlawful.
Yeah.
So we need a motion to.
Yes, to deny.
I make a motion, we deny the facade grant application for the former Academy building.
Is there a second?
No.
No one seconds, I'll second.
Okay, so Ken made a motion, Joe seconded it to deny the facade grant for the former Monmouth Academy Building Committee. All those in favor? Next is to consider closing Main Street for Apple Fest on April 28th. Excuse me. September.
I make a motion, we approve the request to close Main Street for Apple Fest on September 28th.
Second.
There's a motion by Ken, second by Joe to approve closing Main Street for the Apple Fest. All those in favor? I was wondering about.
That's
Mr.
what I'm
Maynard.
wondering, should that be a formal request put on an agenda item for your next meeting?
It does
before
have to
September
happen,
7th?
right?
Yeah,
It
the
does.
municipal officials are supposed to approve it.
Yeah,
Can you put it on the next agenda?
Yep.
That will be the Wednesday right before our event. I'll make sure before that meeting that the police chief has a written agenda.
An email works fine,
Yeah,
just to put in the packet, yeah.
thank you.
And did you want something?
Yeah, I just want to still say, hey, I'm still looking for a little help on Pease Hill Road. I emailed Tony about, there's two really bad spots. One that got washed out, one of the other meetings I was here, up on the top of the hill. The water washed out a spot that gives you a nice little spot like that. It's pretty rough on the vehicles. And still on the end towards the Cobbessy side, it's pretty rough pulling out there. It's kind of dangerous to pull out, but you hit that hump to get onto the road and then people are coming over that hill pretty fast.
So it's washed
So I'm
out.
just looking for some help on the road, that's all,
Yeah.
you know, I just,
It's a Cobbessy end. It's,
yeah, on the Cobbessy end is the problem now, it's Ruth Ann mentioned it before.
Yep.
But it's still a problem, I was taking my lawnmower over to my daughter's on my trailer and when I hit that spot, my lawnmower jumped all around on my trailer, so it's pretty rough getting out of there. And it's rough on that hill. I mean, I know they're not gonna do nothing big this year or something, but at least, you know, try to straighten it out a little for it.
Sure.
Just wanna put it out there on the record, you know?
thank you.
Okay, thank you. I gotta go home. I'm tired. I've been working all day. Thank you for letting me do that.
Sure.
Take care. Have a good night.
Thank you. You got that for Tony?
Yes, Tony has,
You got-
they email each other about once a week, so he's well aware of. He knows, he's
He
been
knows of
told,
the request.
yeah, he's been told that they're not the only one in town that has things that need to be fixed. It's on the list.
Thank you.
Yep.
So
That's it.
we're on to the fiscal year 23, 24, 29, the budget warrant number 29.
The first one is Androscoggin Bank, 56,166. This is a debt service payment. Another payment to Androscoggin Bank for the same thing, debt service payment, $24,184. Androscoggin County Public Safety Dispatch Services, $19,313. Acres Rototilling, this is the roadside mowing, $8,000. Bernstein Sure, the personnel attorney, $2,418. Blue Rock Earthworks, $2,772, transport for the transfer station. Dennis K. Burke, fuel for Public Works, $1,000, well, and all the other town vehicles, $1,378. Eco Maine tipping fees for the recycling, $2,035. Elon Financial Services, various expenses on the town credit card, $2,119. Friends of the Cobbessy Watershed, the annual donation to them, $9,500. Thermal Industries demo removal for the transfer station, $5,789. Harris Computer Systems, this is Trio, this is our software system we use in the town office for everything, $14,734. Clover Shell Consulting, Economic Development Consultant, $1,800. MTCMA, that's the Maine Town and City Managers Association, $1,120. That's my annual dues and the conference registration fee for Lori and I to go to the managers conference this year. Otis Elevator Company, $3,596. That's for the annual maintenance of and licensing and things for the Cumston Hall elevator. State of Maine Bureau of Motor Vehicles, $15,287. State of Maine IF and Inland Fish and Wildlife Service, $6,966, for a grand total of $188,060.18.
I make a motion, we approve. I'm sorry, Dave, did you have a question?
I just had a, go ahead, you can approve it.
Okay.
I just have a question.
I make a motion, we approve fiscal year 23-24 warrant number 29.
Second that.
So the motion by Ken, second by Chris to approve the warrant number 29 for fiscal year 23-24. All those in favor? Thank you.
So I just want to get it straight, because somebody's gonna ask me almost every week after your meeting, somebody asked me this question. Because the warrant did not approve certain things, one was debt service. How can you pay debt service if it's not been approved yet? My answer has always been because we've approved that you can go back onto last year's warrant. There's enough money in there to carry through debt service until we'll vote. Is that,
That's correct.
am I saying it correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So,
Okay.
so like the debt service, if it doesn't get approved at the special town meeting, I'll run out when we get towards the end and I'll have to pick. Most of the debt service payments are once a year and they're various throughout. So if we were to make it, if this thing doesn't pass and we get to some point, I'll have to just pick one at the end to say we're not paying that.
Okay,
That's just, right, because I won't have the money to do it. So yes.
thank you.
Yes, that is
Make sure
correct.
I was correct.
It's the same thing with like the administration budget.
Yeah, you're working.
If
on
it
that,
doesn't
yes.
pass, I'm working on the money I have, but I will not have enough to make it. So if it continues to fail, I will have to basically shut the town office down certain days of the week to make sure that I have enough to make it through June 30.
Okay,
Same thing, but yes, you are perfectly correct in what you're saying.
thank you, thank you.
Yep.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
To tell people at breakfast,
It's not breakfast, believe it or not. Somebody else. It was here last 2 weeks ago when I wasn't here.
Very good.